right now, if you're ready, we want to bring you to a safe house. And I feel your pain.
Oh my God.
And honey, I want you to know that you are a victim of horrible childhood sexual abuse. You are not just a prostitute. You were pimped out as a young girl. And what's happening to you is happening to young girls and women all over the country, honey. And if you're ready to work hard, we have a place for you to go.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us about this place, Ann. What exactly is it?
It is a safe house, which obviously we're not going to say the location, and there's other women there that are dealing with not just issues around prostitution, but sexual violence. We like to help people realize that prostitution is a form of sexual violence. And the things that women that are in prostitution go through is just like a battered woman, you know, and people lack sympathy with that, because when she had that boyfriend at 15, that was a batterer, that was a stalker, that was a pimp. You had no choice. You had no choice. And this is mostly 95% of women or more that have been in prostitution. Honey, it all starts with sexual abuse. It all starts with sexual abuse. And sexual abuse it creates that slippery slope right into the sex industry.
I know one thing you say is whether you're a street prostitute or an escort or a stripper or a phone sex operator or a porn actress, they get addicted to something. What is that thing that they get addicted to?
One thing, Tyra, is that you get addicted to that first transaction. For me, that's what happened for me. I was in prostitution, and I was a runaway, and at first I was forced into it like you at the same age. I was offered a job as a babysitter, and then it turned out to be that I was forced to have sex in a basement, and it was actually a form of trafficking. People don't realize that girls and women are being trafficked right here in the United States. And what happened to you is a form of trafficking. You were tricked and coerced, and other people started calling the shots. And we want to get you in a safe place where you can make your own decisions and go in new directions, honey. And that's why I'm here today. And to answer Tyra's question a little more, sexual abuse makes girls think that, especially if they're in prostitution, they think, I'm going to get back control. If I turn this trick, I'm going to be in control. And it's a mistake that girls and women make, and boys and men too, and it winds up to be a very deadly decision.
I know she feels helpless, and I know that's why she's crying so hard, because you want out, but it's like, how the hell do you get out? If Ann was not here today, do you think that she would probably be living on, you know, as a prostitute forever? Is this like a salvation that has happened, like an angel that has dropped down into the Tyra studio right now? Yeah? Why don't you tell her what this means to you, that you have a safe place to go? You tell her.
It means a lot, because I didn't know where I was going after this. And I just want to get myself together, and you're really helping me to be a better mom and fulfill my dreams and stuff.
And we'll do it together. We'll do it together. And you'll be there with other girls that will help you, other girls and women in a safe place.
Natani, we're going to fly you right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Right now.
Thank you. Oh my God.
We'll be right back.
Up next, she sold her body for the first time at 11 years old.
I remember he reminded me of my daddy.
An amazing story of surviving the streets that you do not want to miss. And later, she balances motherhood with an X-rated career.
So your children do know that you go topless?
Yes, they do know. They don't see anything wrong with what I'm doing.
Women who have survived the sex industry will tell you that breaking free was one of the hardest things they have ever done. Cupcake Brown took that challenge. She is now a former prostitute turned attorney who chronicled her own life story in a book called A Piece of Cake. New York the interview, I have to ask you the name Cupcake. How did you come up with that name?
I get that every day of my life. My mother craved cupcakes when she was pregnant with me, and she had 3 a day, every day for 9.5 months. I was 2 weeks late. And after she had me, she was heavily sedated, and they said, you have a girl, do you know what you want to name her? And she said, Cupcake. So that's what they put down. Well, it was later discovered she was actually asking for a cupcake.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was a mistake that stuck.
It's a mistake that stuck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, but you ended up in prostitution. How old were you? First of all, amazing story that you're an attorney right now, but so we're gonna have to like go backwards a little bit into your life, and we're talk about this celebration of your life now a little later. But I want to go back to how you started prostituting. How old were you when you first had your first prostituting experience?
I was 11.
11.
I was 11 years old.
A baby.
I was a baby.
Wow, that is a baby.
I was.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened for you to start so young.
You know, I was born into a great life. I had a great family, my mother, my daddy, and I have a brother. And when I was 11 years old, I woke up and I found my mother dead. And the man that I thought was my daddy, I learned, was my stepdad. And my biological father, who I call the sperm donor, he disappeared when I was 2 months old. But when my mom died, he thought that my mom's life insurance money would go to whoever had the kids. So he showed up and he fought my daddy, my stepdad, for custody. And there's a law in California that when a parent dies, the surviving biological parent gets first choice as to custody of the children. Wow. So without question, I was given to the sperm donor, who immediately put me in foster care.
Immediately?
Immediately.
Did he get that money?
He never got the money.
No. So
But
how did your mother die?
she had a seizure,
Oh, she had a seizure.
and she suffocated.
Oh,
on her tongue.
on her tongue. Okay. So, in a foster home, what happens in that foster home?
I was raped and beaten.
Really? Raped by who?
I was raped by my foster mother's nephew,
Wow. And beaten by who?
the foster mother.
The foster mother. Whoa. Okay. And then you know, a troubled child, not your fault, but trouble is around you, and you meet a prostitute.
Well, I ran away. I mean, because you have to
Yeah.
remember, my mom wasn't dead 30 days. And
Oh
so,
my
you know, I find my mom dead. I find out the man that I thought was my daddy wasn't my daddy. I'm given to a stranger. He gives me to somebody else. I'm raped, I'm beaten.
Raped, you're beaten, and you're a baby,
I'm
11 years old.
You know, and I'm very innocent. I came from,
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I apologize for saying troubled child. I didn't mean you were troubled. I mean all this
Right.
trouble is happening to this
Right.
innocent baby.
Right,
So
right.
you run away,
I
and
run
then
away.
you meet this prostitute.
I mean, a prostitute named Candy. And I was sitting, it was
her name?
nighttime, Candy.
Okay, her name's Candy.
And I was sitting on a park bench, and I was crying because I didn't know, I had never run away before, so it wasn't a good plan. I didn't have a jacket, I didn't have anywhere to go, I didn't have anything to eat. And she saw me sitting there, and she took me to a nearby donut shop. And she bought me a donut and a cup of cocoa. And I told her what had happened to me, and she said, look, she said, it's a cold world out here. She said, no one gives a about you. She said, now you might as well start charging for what is being taken for free.
She's saying this to an 11-year-old baby.
To an 11-year-old. And you know, I thought about what she said, and who's going to give me a job? How am I going to survive? And so she took me outside, and a car pulled up, and
Same immediate moment?
immediate moment, because that was her corner.
You
know,
met
she
her that moment. She gave you coffee, cocoa and donuts. She took you outside.
Took me
Car
outside.
pulled up.
Big old Cadillac pulled up, and they started bartering over me. And I learned that
Two guys
night.
in the Cadillac were
There
bartering?
was one guy in the Cadillac and Candy.
Oh, the deal.
They were,
the
yes,
money.
they were talking, because you get more money the younger the girl is. I didn't know that. So Candy was telling him, you know, she told him I was 10. So you get, she's going to cost you more. I didn't know that. He was like, okay, you know, obviously he knew.
And
that
you
he
had
could
sex
go.
with that man?
His name was Joe.
You remember his name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you know, they never give you a real name.
Yeah.
Joe, Bob.
Yeah, Steve, whatever.
Yeah.
And how old was he? Do you think you remember him to?
I remember he reminded me of my daddy.
Okay.
So he had to be
40s?
in 40s.
40 years old having sex with what he thinks is a 10-year-old, but you're 11
Right,
and
I'm
still
11.
a baby.
Right.
Okay. So you have sex with him, and did she reward you with more donuts or something? What was the story?
Well, when we were after the donuts, she gave me booze and weed, and I loved the feeling of getting high. So after the trick with Joe, Joe gave me $40. He gave me 2 20s, and all I kept thinking about was all the candy I was going to buy.
Because you're a baby.
I'm a baby, yeah. You know, I was going to get some candy and soda. And then afterwards, I got candy and soda.
Yeah. Okay, and I know you started hitchhiking.
I started hitchhiking because I would run away. You know, they'd take me to another foster home, I'd run away, and I'd work the street.